Hello everybody and welcome to the 2022 February layout update. So in this video I'm going to be showing you the stuff I've done on and off the layout. So before we get into it, I'd just like to ask everyone if they could please subscribe if you're new here. Click on the notifications bell and press all. That way you don't miss out on any new videos. Like the video and feel free to leave a comment as well. So anyways, let's get into today's update, shall we? Okay, so in terms of stuff that I've actually done on the layout, it's not much, I will admit, since the previous update. However, I have done a couple of little things. So I've had to replace a section of track from about where my hand is down there all the way to here, as the section of track that was there before was causing a whole load of issues. So basically trains were derailing, wagons were derailing, and it just got to the point where running trains was no fun, at least on this line anyways. So for a couple of hours I decided to get rid of the old track that was here and put this new track in its place, and I will say it is much better. It's not perfect, but it's definitely an improvement. Locos run considerably better, rolling stock runs considerably better, and there is the odd derailment here and there, but other than that it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm really happy that I replaced this whole entire section here, as it makes trains run a lot better. And on the subject of track changes, I've also finally gotten rid of the old point that was here, as there was super glue in the mechanism and I broke it trying to clear it. So I've had this point lying around, and I got this in 2020, so finally I was able to install it, as I finally got myself a Dremel. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So those are the two track changes I've done. So let me show you some other stuff. Okay, so I know I've covered this building in the Christmas video where I did like a mini update. However, I just want to go over this one again. So this is a 3D printed building, and this building was actually designed by Luke Towan over at Boulder Creek Railroad, and he put the file for this building on his website, so I was able to download it. And I don't have a 3D printer, however my school does, so I got it 3D printed there, which was very good. And then I just finished it off with a bit of corrugated plastic card that I had lying around. And the real building is actually a replica of the little shed that's at Pyramid Hill train station in central Victoria. So all the colours I've chosen are a sort of rough estimate of what's actually on the real building. Now, it's not finished just yet, it still needs gutters and downpipes and all that, but it's getting there, and I had to rip up the area that was here before to put this new building in. But yeah, that one will be done shortly, so yeah, really happy with this one. So now that that's all the stuff that I've done on the layout that I talked about, I'm going to show you what I've done off the layout. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this stuff here in the foreground, and then I'll talk about stuff in the background a little bit later. So I'll quickly talk about this guy right here. So this is a broad gauge bodies VPFX flower wagon, and basically I have shown this in a previous update. However, what I have done to it is I've done a fair bit of modification to the underside. So if I just bring it up here, you can see I've had to cut away these on this end and this end here to allow the bogies to swivel. I've also had to put my own coupling mount blocks, so I actually have to screw the couplings into those, and it's improved the running quite a fair bit. So after I got that running, there was a few bits of silver that needed touching up, So what I decided to do is I decided to mask over all the decals and then just spray some silver in the areas that needed it. However, when I took the paint, when I took the masking tape off, it actually started peeling up the decals. So I thought, you know what, I'll just remove all the decals and just give this thing a respray anyways, as you could tell the difference between the old silver and the new silver. So I decided to get rid of all the decals and just completely respray it. So this one is a bit on the back burner at the moment. I've got the bogies here, I've just sprayed those brown, so those will stay there until I get this one finished. However, I have some of the decals for this, but I don't have all of them. So as I said, this one is on the back burner at the moment, so I'll get this one done eventually. So yeah, that's one that I'll be hopefully completing quite soon, until I can get decals, that is. So yeah, I'll stop talking about this one and talk about these two here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these two here. So I'll talk about this guy real quick. This is a Hornby 70 years wagon as part of their, I guess, 70 year celebration wagon range. So got this from a friend of mine quite a bit of time ago, and it's now been weathered. So I have done a video on weathering this one, and I'll leave a link to that up in the corner there, so you can go watch that and see how I weathered it. In terms of what went well with the weathering, the roof turned out pretty good in my opinion. However, the walls and everything, not so great. Because what actually happened was the matte varnish bubbled, as you can see slightly, I think. There you go. Yeah, you can see it's bubbled on the surface. And when I did the video on this, I got a comment by John Warner over at Piccadilly saying that maybe there was a bit of dirt still left on it, and quite right there was. So it's caused the matte varnish to bubble and leave this unrealistic surface. However, the underframe turned out pretty good, I guess. So yeah, that's that one. Let's put it to the side. And I'll talk about this guy real quick. So this is a Powerline VHSY wagon. Now this is not actually a real wagon in real life. This is just like a freelance wagon, I suppose you could call it. Various modifications were done to this one. So I've added new wheels and bogies. These are the steam era models ones. I've gone for the steam era models ones because, first off, I've got quite a bit of steam era stuff now which has bogies, and the steam era bogies are very, very reliable. Not had any issues with those. And second of all, they're relatively inexpensive. Second of all, I've added Kadee couplings as well, and couplings in question are the Kadee 142s. So those are the ones I've added. I would have liked to have used the 148s, but they didn't have any in stock when I brought them. So I did that, and I've also added my own handrails with some brass wire that I had kicking around. I've also put some decals on it as well to sort of spruce it up, make it a bit more detailed. I've painted the weight red, VR red, to hide that. And yeah, overall I think it's turned out pretty good. So this is now ready for weathering, and there will be a video on how I weather this. However, I'm not going to do a how-to like what I did with this one and my first video, which was a grain hopper. I'm going to do like a time-lapse video of me weathering this, so you'll see how I weather it uncut, unedited, that kind of thing. So yeah, that should be quite exciting. So that will be coming up very soon, hopefully. So yeah, those are the two wagons that I've done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the stuff in the background here. Alright, so I'm going to quickly talk about my Powerline Tclass and what I've actually done to this. So the only thing that I've done to this is I've added Kadee number 5 couplings, as the original couplings are absolutely rubbish and they break really easily. And not only that, the spring that's in the knuckle, you lose it real easy. Like, I remember when I got this, I was probably either the 3rd or 4th day of owning this. I lost one of the springs in, I believe it was this end here on the original coupler, and then eventually the original coupler that was on this end broke. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame really. So I finally upgraded the couplers to Kadee number 5s, as that's what Powerline recommend. And yeah, I've had no issues with them so far. I would like to do the lighting upgrade as well to this, so that's something I'll be doing to it as well. And I've got myself an airbrush. I'll just go get it. So yeah, I got myself an airbrush finally. So soon, very soon, I can actually start weathering this, which is quite exciting. So I've now finally got myself an airbrush, which is something I really needed in order to weather this and do the wagons in the background here. So yeah, I'll be weathering this very soon. So that's the Tclass. So now I'm going to talk about these wagons in the background here. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these 3 steam era models VHGF grain wagons. So as I said, these are the steam era models kits. I've already got 3 of them already. Brilliant kit to make, really easy, and I just had a lot of fun building these ones. Now in terms of couplers, I've got the Kadee 142s on these, and because of the way these are designed, I've had to add a shim under there. Hopefully you can see that. That white bit of plastic card is the shim that I added to bring these up to the correct height. Now, so yeah, these are ready to go for paint. They run really well, and in terms of paint that I'm actually going to be using, because I got my airbrush, I'm going to be using SMS, the scale model supply VR yellow for the main body, and then for the bogies I'm going to use SMS VR red. So these are pre-thinned out of the bottle, so it's simply just a pour and spray kind of method, I guess you could call it. No need to mess around with thinners or anything like that. So that bit's already done, which is good. All I need to do is pour them in the airbrush and I'm ready to go. So yeah, can't wait to get these all painted up and weathered. And again, I'll do a video on weathering just one of these, because I have a special project in mind with one of these. So yeah, those are the grain wagons I'm working on. These should be done by the next update, hopefully, which will be out in either March or April. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, those are my grain wagons. So lastly, I'm going to talk about the stuff in the background. Alright, so lastly, I'm just going to talk about this stuff in the background. So we'll start off with the Z-Van here. So this is a steam era models Z-Van. I've already got one of these on the layout. Brilliant kit to build, and I'll definitely be getting more of these. Now with this one, I hope to make this one a lot better than my previous one. First off, I've added a lot more weight, so it runs 10 times better. And secondly, I think the build quality, I'm hoping, is going to be a lot better. However, I kind of messed up in the corners a bit. These side walls, they're too far in. So what I mean by that is it's not flush with the side walls aren't flush with the corner of the ends here, if that makes any sense. So what ended up happening was when I tried to fit the body to the chassis, it wasn't going to fit very well. So if we just look in here, you can see there's a gap here. So I had to hack away bits of plastic just to get the body to sit on properly. But other than that, I think I've done a pretty good job at it as well. And another thing I did was I separated the buffer beam, I suppose you could call it, with the main body. So I did that as well. And yeah, I think it's turned out pretty good. Again, it's got the Kadee 142s on those. And amazingly, it's at the right height, which is good. So if I just put it up against this one here, as you can see, it's the correct height. Don't know how well. There you go. So yeah, that's the Zvan. And I've also got it here, talk about this guy here. So this is a Steam Era Models U-Van. Really pleased with this one. And funny thing with this is, when I got it, it came with another roof. Not really sure why, but yeah, it came with two roofs, which is pretty interesting. And the funny thing is, they were the same roof, so not really sure what the go with that was, but yeah, it came with two roofs, which is pretty interesting. I suppose they included it as a spare, maybe. Who knows? And also, this is my first Steam Era kit that includes brass etched details. So yeah, that's something new that I learnt. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. Now, I didn't put all of the brass etched details on it, like the handrails that go in these areas here, because they're just too fiddly to install. But you know, I think it looks pretty good. Like, I've got pretty much the underframe detailing done. I mean, it's not perfect, but yeah, it looks alright in my opinion, and I'll only get better as time goes on. So yeah, that's my U-Van that I've done. So I'll go with that one. So let me talk about those passenger cars in the background. Okay, so I've saved the best till last. So these are some Steam Era Models AW passenger car kits. I've got two of them so far, as that's what my local model shop had in stock at the time. So I will be getting more of these. Hope to make a consist of 5 wagons, so I'll probably get maybe 2 BWs and then a CW guards van. So yeah, they're not finished, as you can see. I still need to paint them. Now, one thing I do need to do to these, however, is get different couplings. The couplings I've got in these are the 142s, however they're too short, because I've got the gangways here, and what happens is if I glue these gangways on, had it the wrong way around, so if I glue the gangways on, do the same to the other wagon, and try couple them up, it's a bit of a struggle to couple them, but they will couple, but they won't go around corners with the gangways on as they press up against each other. So I need to get long shank couplers for those. And if anyone has any suggestions on Kadee long shank couplers that I should get, let me know in the comments. But yeah, these are my first passenger car kits, so pretty pleased with them so far. And yeah, I hope to get a few more of these maybe. I might even get an E-car, in fact. Maybe one of those Orcision models E-cars I'll get. So yeah, that should be pretty interesting. And I will say, the wiring to this stuff here, that's fishing line. If you're going to build these kits, don't use it. I found this to be quite a struggle to install. So to replicate that detail, just get brass wire. It will make your life 10 times easier. So I now know that for next time. So if I get some more of these, I'll pick some brass wire up as well. But yeah, those are my Steam Era Models W cars. Pretty pleased with them so far. They still need weight. As you can see, there's no weight in them at all. So I need to get some weight. And yeah, once I do that, I'll be able to test them. And then once they run fine, I'll then get on to painting these. So yeah, those are all my rolling stock that I've done in the past few months done and talked about. So yeah, let's get on to the outro. Okay, so before I go, what I will do is I will leave a link in the description of this video to all the various brands of products that were shown in this video. So I'll leave a link to Powerline, steam era models, the scale model supply, and the other brands that I mentioned in this video. So if you want to know a bit more about those, then links to those will be in the description of this video. So anyways, that will be it for today's video. So I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And if you're new here, again, please subscribe and click the notifications bell and press all. That way you don't miss out on any new videos that I release in the future. So yeah, I think that will wrap up today's video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video, which will be the Pakenham line, February 2022. So see you all in that video. So take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.